Hey, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing good. We're going to be doing a timeless reading today. If you don't want to see the astrology portion, I have the tarot portion timestamped in the comments section below. But that said, charts and transits are right next to me. Let's go ahead and hop right in. So we have a lot going on with the sun today. Most specifically, we have the sun conjunct Mercury and Mars, as well as trining Saturn. We also have it squaring Pluto, and I am also taking note of Mercury squaring Pluto and Chiron squaring the moon. Let's start off with Chiron can't speak today. Let's start off with Chiron squaring the moon. Currently, we are still in eclipse season, about halfway through. Chiron is in Aries retrograde, moon is in Capricorn. And we did just come out of a new moon not long ago, so we are kind of moving through those energies of the eclipse and now kind of working through everything that came. You know what? Because it's like we had the eclipse, and the eclipse, we talked about how it wasn't necessarily a great time to try to start big manifestations. It was a huge clearing and cleansing process. I feel like this is kind of the progression of that. When I see Chiron squaring the moon, that to me feels a lot like inner child healing. The moon being the emotions, Chiron, I cannot speak today. Chiron being the wounded healer. I feel like there's this really amazing time for you to start to kind of really release a lot of your own karmic cycles. And I feel like this has to do with karmic relationships as well, because we do have the sun trining Saturn. I see the sun as the world around us and the relationships closest to us, Saturn being the planet of organized chaos and karma and injustice and all that kind of stuff. With Chiron squaring the moon, as well as I guess the moon trining Venus and trining Jupiter, it's kind of this energy where it's like, as all of these really old patterns and relationships are being closed out in your life, that's making space for new things to come in. And keep in mind, like, when we're going through this whole eclipse energy, we're releasing a lot of different things. This is stuff inside of us. This is relationships outside of us. This can really look different for everybody. So it's going to be, different for you depending on what stage of your life you're at right now. But if we're looking at this in terms of relationships with Mars trining Saturn, this is a lot of like forward movement. I feel like you and your person are kind of in this space where you're kind of just really taking that time to tie up any loose ends in either of your lives in order to allow this relationship to flourish, right? So it's this energy where it's like no longer letting things linger, no longer letting things be in a space of giving them the opportunity to get in the way, not only of your relationship, but other areas of your life. So as we're in this eclipse energy, as we're doing this cleansing energy, you're going to start to really see a stark difference between the new you and your new life and new reality and your old life and old reality. So as you're kind of in this new timeline and you're doing all of these new beautiful things, you're going to start to notice a lot of old things will try to pull you back into your old way, because it's a conscious decision you have to make every single day to remain in that conscious energy and to remain in that new timeline space. So if this is in terms of relationships, let's say you've entered a new relationship, you're with your partner, you guys are building something beautiful together, you will start to notice like old patterns come up to heal, and that can look like just a lot of trauma and triggers that may not have come up until further into the relationship, or exes and old friends and maybe family members trying to come around with their opinions and trying to pull either you or your person back into an old energy. Because keep in mind, as you are removing yourself from particular energies, you're going to start to notice that it creates a sort of not even an imbalance, but it's like the people you're removing yourself from, or that are being removed from you, are going to notice that absence, that energetic absence, where you may have been focused intently on maybe somebody from your past, but you've already moved on in a new direction. You're going to start to, they're going to notice that, and that's going to come around and maybe try to pull you and or your person back into that space. It's just really interesting that that's what's coming out based on the small amount of stuff we even mentioned. But that's what I'm seeing, especially with this, because we have so much going on with the sun and Saturn and Pluto. Pluto being the collective shadow, Saturn being karmic healing, and the sun being our relationships closest to us, especially with that really beneficial with like moon trining Venus. And with Chiron squaring the moon, with that inner child healing, you're going to find a lot of that through positive experiences in your relationship. So like it's kind of one of those things where there's a lot of chaos going on in both of your lives, but you're finding solace in each other, right? So it's not placing all of the responsibility on each other to bring happiness to each other's lives, but it is understanding that those relationships are there to support you through the difficult times in your life. And that's kind of what I feel like these relationships are here for, not only just to bring you healing, but you can find that healing through love. You don't have to find it through struggle. I feel like that's something that's kind of being reframed in your life, in your relationships. So yeah, let's leave it there. Let's hop into the tarot portion. If you want to book a personal reading, subscribe to Patreon or listen to my music. All of that's in the description. I'm never going to contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. Only way to book a reading with me is to DM me on Instagram or send me an email. Keep in mind, these readings are timeless. If they do not fit, please do not force them. I'm going to be starting out with the Hieronymus Bosch Tarot today, and I'm not sure what I'm going to clarify with. I have two other decks with me on the table. I have my Book of Thoth Tarot and the Luna Edition Ethereal Visions Tarot. So yeah, I'm feeling called to start with Hieronymus Bosch today, so we're just going to go and see what comes out. We have the Queen of Birds. We have the Barrel Boy. Knight of Birds. And Christ Child. So bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Berries. We have the Queen of Birds, the Barrel Boy, Christ Child, and the Knight of Birds. Christ Child in this deck is the Sun. So, yeah, I feel like this is kind of going off of that astrological energy we just talked about, like that. This new beginning in your love life or relationship, if you're in this relationship now, this new phase that you're in this relationship as things are becoming more serious, but also becoming more playful. It's this energy where I feel like you're both releasing conflict from your individual lives, from within yourselves, and in your relationship. And that's bringing a sense of playfulness to, I think, both of your lives that I think you both need right now. And that's what I'm seeing with this energy here. It's like as this new energy comes in, it's pushing out a lot of the old karmic energies that may be trying to get in the way of this type of relationship. Keep in mind, men, the types of relationships I tend to read for, these are the energies we get quite often, have gotten for multiple years now. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, as you're kind of utilizing wisdom from the past, not making the same mistakes, what I kind of just like different train of thought. Sometimes I just autopilot speak on cards, but I'm kind of getting another train of thought here. So what I'm kind of picking up on now, it's like this relationship in this new phase is providing a sense of wisdom that I think both of you may have needed to be able to see other relationships clearly. And so it's kind of comparing through the contrast, right? So it's like as you connect with this person and as you continue to build your relationship and take these new adventures together and really just enjoying the relationship for what it is, it's allowing all of this stuff to come to light. The Barrel Boy, the whole story of this card is somebody here is trapped. We can see this as a karmic cycle, right? And it almost is like somebody who's a victim to their circumstances. But as this whatever creature continues to pour liquid into this barrel, eventually this person is freed simply because the barrel fills up and they are now freed from that energy. And that's what I'm seeing here. As you're filling each other up with love and light and all of these beautiful emotions, that is freeing both of you from long-held karmic cycles, whether that's internally or externally or both. I'd like to clarify that, though. I'd like to clarify just these cards here, whatever wants to come out. Almost dropped cards. Okay, bottom of the deck we have the Prince of Skates. This is having to make a decision. This is indecision. Well, it says indecision, too many options, and balanced pleasure. I feel like somebody here is coming out of that state of indecision. So if your person has been a little indecisive about whether they're fully invested in the relationship, I do feel like that's coming to an end here. We have the King of Vessels and we have the Ace of Coins. So Ace of Pentacles and the King of Cups, basically. So I feel like somebody here really took the time to get in touch with their emotions. And I feel like by doing that, that's kind of allowing this person to come out of a state of indecision. So it looks like there was like a phase or a cycle in this relationship where there may have been a period of pause and reflection for both of you to reflect on your own lives before making any solid decisions moving forward. I feel like this is somebody here who takes relationships very seriously, and they really value themselves and the love that they give. And because of that, they're not so quick to just pour into something. Because I do feel like in the past, this is somebody you were dealing with who may have poured all of their love, time, and energy into another relationship, and only for them to essentially feel stuck, trapped, and taken advantage of. But through this dynamic that you guys are in, I feel like this is something new for both of you, right? Queen of Birds and the Knight of Birds. I feel like this is something that's providing the clarity that you both need. And I feel like that's because your emotions and stability, it's like, because the relationship is stable, I feel like this is something that has already been solidified between you two. So you may already be, in a commitment with this person. But I feel like it may have started out small. This is kind of going off of what came in the last reading. It may have started out a little bit small, maybe fun, adventurous, and passionate, but it's becoming very serious. And I think that's going both ways. I think you're both really deepening your emotions for each other. And it's getting to the point where I feel like that's what's also freeing both of you from any sort of karmic cycles that you feel may have been holding this relationship back. And I feel like that has a lot to do with indecision with the Prince of Skates. I'm mostly being drawn to this because it's like this with the King of Skates at the bottom of that as well. This is somebody who may have been very selfish at one point in the past, somebody who was very self-serving, somebody who was used to just doing things that were best for them. But I feel like through this relationship, I think this is both of you. I really am feeling a mirrored energy here. I feel both of you may have been this type of energy in the past, maybe before you even solidified the relationship. You may have both been in this space of just kind of doing what's best for yourselves, not thinking too much about how that's going to impact the people around you, simply because you were probably feeling very stuck and trapped in a karmic energy, karmic cycle. That could be, karmic cycles don't have to be like romantic relationships. This could be friendships, family members, jobs, ways of thinking, ways of feeling, just subconscious patterns being brought to the surface to be healed and released, right? But I am noticing we do have the Knight of Swords under that. We have the Prince of Swords, or excuse me, the Prince of Coins, and then the Ace of Skates. So if you know anything about this card, this has to do with the quest for the Holy Grail, and this is a successful quest, okay? And I feel like this is somebody here who is essentially wanting to, I feel like they may need your help and guidance. It's like as this person is kind of seeing the truth of situations around them, I feel like this is somebody here who feels like they may need your advice. I feel like this is somebody who, they may not necessarily trust themselves fully just yet, but they're starting to trust themselves more. And as they're starting to trust themselves more, they're essentially understanding that they can actually trust you. It's this whole, I remember I saw a post about it. It has to do with, like, I think we talked about it last reading, self-trust and the ability to trust yourself again after, surviving particular trauma in relationships. And that's something that you cultivate. The same way you rebuild trust in a relationship with somebody after trust has been broken is the same way you rebuild trust with yourself, to be able to trust yourself to make decisions, to take risks, that are leading to places that you may have wanted to, right? I am seeing a lot about parenthood, though. We do have the Sun, we do have the Prince of Coins. There could be the possibility for this to lead to some sort of, I guess, you can either you have kids with this person, or there's the potential to have children with this person. There could be like a spirit baby on the way here. Maybe you guys are currently expecting a child or something like that. I'm going to move on to another deck, though. I don't know why I wanted to start with that, but I just kind of wanted to tap in with that. We're going to use the Book of Thoth Tarot to clarify what's going on with all this. I just keep seeing like a vision of two people just, again, focused on each other and not really paying too much attention to the outside world. Still, finding that balance, but I feel like these are two people who at one point were very selfish individuals. And as they come together, they're now releasing that selfish tendencies. I cannot speak today, I apologize. So I was shuffling and these just all came out, so we're going to take them. We have the Ace of Coins, or Ace of Pentacles, or discs in this deck. So we have the Ace of Pentacles twice. We have the Eight of Swords, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Four of Cups. I feel like this is somebody that's kind of just like, how do I even put this? This almost kind of feels like there's somebody being blocked out. Something that's not, like somebody's not accepting an offer somewhere. So maybe this is like, oh, we actually, oh, yeah, we have the Prince of Discs at the bottom too. Yeah, I feel like somebody here is freeing themselves from something. I feel like this actually might be your person here that you're dealing with. This may have been something they were invested in at one point. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. But I feel like this is somebody who's seeing how being involved with particular relationships or particular people was stopping them from actually making the investments in themselves and this relationship that they wanted to. So regardless of whether you two are together, I mean, it does look like you guys are together. I feel like you're entering a new, more stable phase in the relationship. And the reason for that is because I feel like you're both freeing yourselves from anything that was keeping you in a state of excess. Right, so this is essentially not overindulging in particular types of energies, not supplementing particular types of energies. So if you were like in a separation from this person, this could be either you or your person trying to supplement that energy with other people, habits, addictions, ways of thinking, overthinking. I feel like a lot of that's kind of being let go of, and that's what's allowing this new phase in the relationship to begin. And I feel like it's just a more stable energy coming through. You know, I feel like in the past, when we kind of tap into this energy, you guys were going through a state of healing, right? So you guys were kind of in union and together and committed and stuff, but you had your own individual healing. You remember that? You guys kind of had to take a little bit of a step apart, and the universe was kind of getting you guys to look at a lot of the things that were coming up for you as individuals. And I feel like now that we're kind of moving through eclipse season, we're about halfway through, a lot of those realizations are now coming to the forefront, and that's being cleared out. So I feel like you both have already kind of come back into this more stable space, and as you're coming back into communication and you're coming back into connecting, you're now seeing the difference between what the universe wanted to show you apart opposed to together. Yeah, let's go ahead and clarify these cards here. Okay, we have the Empress and the Four of Wands. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands. We have the Four of Wands and the Empress. Yeah, so this is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, with the Four of Wands can be completion of a cycle, but with the Empress and the Ace of Wands here, I feel like this is somebody who's like ready to take things to the next level. With you. If you guys are already in a relationship, this is essentially talking about marriage or living situation or whatever that may look like for you. This could also be kids here with the Empress here, having a family or building a home with somebody. This could be deciding to move in together or starting to make plans for the future in your relationship is what it feels like to me. I'd like to clarify that, actually. I mean, I really would just like to clarify that. What's coming out with that here? Prince of Wands coming out as well. I feel like this is somebody who's like, there's a lot of excitement. I feel like there's this very exciting energy kind of amplifying between you two right now. As you guys are both slowly investing in each other more than you were. I feel like it's speeding up. That's kind of what it feels like. We have the Sun coming out again. We have the Knight of Swords. We have Justice and the Sun. So I feel like this is somebody who's really seeing this relationship clearly now. So if they weren't seeing things clearly before, or maybe you weren't seeing things clearly before, everything is really just in clear view. You know, what you both mean to each other, the potential of this relationship, where it can go. And keep in mind, it's like even when you are in union with your person, there's still a process to that. You know what I mean? There's still a lot to be worked through. Coming into union, I feel like is just kind of the first step in a relationship like this. After you do that, you're still going to be working through all kinds of things. I mean, it's whether or not you're in separation or you're with this person, considering separation is an illusion to an extent, you're still going to be working through stuff. And that's what I'm seeing with the Four of Wands, the Empress, and the Ace of Wands. It's like you're entering a new cycle in something that you've already been in for a while. And I feel like that's because you both have brought, I don't know, maybe I think you may have said something. Either you did or said something that caused this person to really see how the relationships around them were draining them or trying to get them out of their own abundance. Is kind of what it feels like. And I feel like not only that, but with the Prince of Swords and the Six of Wands and the Hanged Man, I feel like there are a lot of people watching you step into this new phase of success in your life and your relationships. I don't feel like this is just in love. I mean, I feel like this could be you stepping into a new phase of your financial stability. This is financial independence. This is also stepping into a space of really embodying that Empress energy and really being comfortable with investing into yourself. And it's kind of finding that balance between investing into the relationship and investing into yourself. And it's kind of utilizing the wisdom of all of these things that you have been through, all of these things this relationship is bringing up for you. It's applying all of that to this relationship and to the future endeavors in your life. We're going to pull from a third deck. I don't usually pull from 3 decks, but I'm feeling called. We're going to use the Luna Edition Ethereal Visions Tarot. So yeah, again, I feel like there's a lot of people that are watching this happen. I feel like you are entering a new phase in your life where if you're in union with your person, there are people that are taking note of that. That is energetically impacting the people around you. It feels like a very solid energy. I don't feel tension between you two. I just feel tension outside of yourselves, right? So a lot of jealousy and envy and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and clarify anything that wants to come out with this deck. But keep in mind with these kinds of relationships, man, that's pretty much to be expected at this point. Especially when it's like a divine connection and the types of stuff we read for. And the Queen of Cups. So I feel like you are both very much in love with each other. I don't feel like that's a question at this point. It's probably established. We have 4 of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. So this person may be keeping a lot of that to themselves though. We have the Fortune. I feel like this is somebody who feels like they need to be a certain way to impress you is what I'm hearing. So King of Pentacles, Death, 4 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. I feel like this is somebody who's going through a major transformation with how they view love and relationships. I feel like this is somebody who at one point may have felt as though they needed to embody some sort of like societal expectation in order to feel worthy of being in a relationship or being, you know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it's like you have to kind of like feel worthy to let yourself experience that. That's what I feel like this energy is coming through. But what I'm seeing here, it's like through you connecting with this person, something you did or something you said caused this person to have a major realization about how this relationship fits into their life, right? And so it's kind of like understanding that it's like the financial abundance and the emotional abundance, they go hand in hand. Okay, I feel like this is something that's kind of reaching a new height. It's like a new peak. It's like you kind of came, you know, the peaks and the valleys. You're coming out of a valley, you're heading up into another peak, and I feel like the peaks are going higher and higher. But because of that, the valleys may also go lower in some cases with the Death and the 4 of Pentacles. And this is really getting you both to let go of anything that was kind of holding you back. I don't even want to say boundaries because I do think boundaries are important, but it's one of those energies where it's like taking a look at anything that you were holding on to. This isn't just about your person. Remember, these energies are often reflected. Is there anything that you've been holding on to? Have you been holding on to any grudges? Have you been holding on to any past pain, whether with this person or from your past? That's the kind of mirroring energy I'm seeing here, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. And then 7 of Cups wanted to come out under that. And so that's seeing through the illusion of thinking you don't deserve what is in your life at the moment. Queen of Wands is at the bottom on 2 different decks. So, I mean, massive energy of passionate forward movement. I feel like this is just like a growing love and passion between you two. And while it started out, you know, as playful and fun and passionate, this is really developing into a deep, loving romance, right? We have Queen of Wands twice. We have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. I don't know where the King of Cups is. Was it in this deck? We're using like 3 different decks. I could have sworn we had it, maybe not. I don't know. Aside from the point, yeah. I'm feeling like this is essentially one of those things where it's like there's really no decision. So if there was at any point either you or this person trying to make a choice between multiple people, I don't really see that even being an issue. Right, with the Queen of Wands, the Hermit, and the Three of Pentacles with the Moon. Oh, you know what I'm seeing here with this energy? This is somebody who is like, they've been trying to make a plan for your relationship. It's kind of what it feels like. So if this person was maybe, if it seemed like they were being a little secretive, or maybe they were kind of keeping a mask on, I feel like that's because this person here was trying to get themselves to a stable place in their life. They may have started some sort of new like endeavor that they were trying, I don't know, they could have just been trying to bring in this sort of financial abundance to be able to provide for you in the relationship, right? This could be somebody who, it really depends on how each of you were raised, but what I'm seeing here is this is somebody who is afraid of not being able to live up to the expectations that they have built up in their mind about what they think you expect of them. So without actually communicating any of that, I feel like this person has built, they've put you on a pedestal, right, with the Empress. They've put you up on a pedestal with the Queen of Wands as well. They see you as somebody very attractive, talented, and generally just a blessing to their life. And they're kind of questioning whether or not they're able to live up to what they think they need to be in your life. So this is somebody who has really taken the time to like really build their finances. They may have started some new like business endeavor. They may have just been pouring all of their time and energy into that. And I don't feel like that's to reject you or to not to make you feel away. It's simply because I feel like this person wants to be in a space where they feel like they're good enough to be in the relationship, whether or not you're actually with them or not. Like even if you guys are together, this is somebody who I feel like struggles with a lot of self-worth issues. There may be a lot of just like some low self-esteem, and I feel like that's tied to a lot of the relationships that were in their life. And as they're connecting with you and you're building them up and you're saying all these amazing things, they're seeing the comparing and the contrasting of this relationship and how it makes them feel compared to how other relationships make them feel, right? So, and this kind of ties into the whole like karmic energy clearing that we were talking about with the eclipse season. This is going for both of you. You're going to start to notice a very stark difference between how your person makes you feel opposed to other people make you feel, whether for better or for worse. It's just understanding that there is going to be a difference, and there's essentially no comparison to these types of connections and you being in this relationship. And I think you're both in that space of seeing that, understanding that there never was any decision. Usually it's one of those things where when you know yourself well enough and you know what you want, you know what you're looking for, when that is brought into your life, there's no question about whether or not you deserve it because you've been praying for it. And so when it's there and it's in front of you, it's learning to trust yourself enough to choose that for yourself, right? So think about a time where like you were trying to manifest something really amazing for yourself and it started to come in, and it comes in, and then you're sitting there questioning, oh, is this actually the thing I wanted? Four of Cups, like, is this actually what I thought I was looking for? Is this actually for me, is what I'm feeling. And I feel like this is a mirrored energy. I feel like you're both working through that, trying to accept that this is what you were looking for. Understanding that it's like the universe has been showing both of you through various signs, synchronicities, and even just like communication through each other, that you both are providing something very stable and fulfilling that can have that long-term potential with the Empress and the Four of Wands. Five of Swords, Ten of Cups, the Hierophant bottom of the deck. So there is a little bit of apprehension here, right? And I feel like Ten of Cups, Five of Swords, and the Four of Cups, I feel like that has a lot to do with like a combination of like what you have seen in your past relationships, whether that's you being in past relationships or what you've seen your parents do or what media has taught you love is supposed to look like. I feel like this is a relationship that is unconventional in a lot of different ways. This could be like age gap, this could be cultural differences, this could just be like just being different people in general. And so if there's been any sort of conflict, I feel like that's kind of where that's coming from. Like, I mean, like mental conflict. We're not, this doesn't feel like you two are in like any sort of tension or conflict. I feel like there's just a lot of internal mechanisms going on right now about how do we make this work. It's not so much a question of do we want to be together, it's now a question of, okay, we're deciding to be together, what do each of us have to do to make this work for the long term, right? And I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, I feel like we all embody divine masculine and feminine energies, but that's one of the lessons I feel like that comes through with masculine energy a lot of the times. It's understanding that yes, all of this really beautiful, passionate love is amazing, but there does need to be some sort of stability and organization to being practical and understanding the logistics of a long-term relationship, right? With the Ten of Cups, Five of Swords, and the Four of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles here, right? This is somebody that's kind of like understanding, okay, I understand that like in order for me to be in this relationship long-term, there's things that you each have to figure out in your own lives in order for that to move forward, right? That's what I'm seeing with the Star and the Nine of Pentacles. So I think we're kind of moving towards the end of the reading here, so this can be some good advice. It's like making sure you're taking that time to invest in your life, invest in yourself, still following your dreams, not completely shutting other areas of your life down for the relationship. And I feel like that's where that balance is coming in, right? So as you two are together in the relationship, building something beautiful, you're now both thinking about, okay, well, what is this going to require of me long term? Is there anything in my life that may get in the way down the line? And if so, what do I have to do in this moment to take care of that? So I'm going to go and leave it there. I think that's a really beautiful place to leave the reading. This reading flowed really nice today. I actually really enjoyed the reading. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. If you want to book a personal reading, subscribe to Patreon or listen to my music. All of that is in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. Only way to book a reading is to DM my Instagram or send me an email. But that said, I love you so much. I will see you in the next reading. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.